because it just seemed like it was too much to do.
Yeah.
With my teaching, which is my job.
Yeah.
And I felt like I just couldn't keep up with the stats and all the Saturdays and just. And then Mr. Babbitt, I mean, my parents weren't very healthy at that point. My mom had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And I was spending more time than I thought in Flint.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Babbitt, just talked to me in February or something. I said, no thanks. I actually will say I sat with him the last freshman boys basketball game.
Yeah.
And sat in the bleachers, and I gave him all my reasons why I didn't feel like I could. And I said, I'm not interested, and I don't think so. He said, okay, I understand that. And so he really didn't say anything more. And I will honestly say I did a women's Bible study on the book of Esther.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the sermons at church, everything was pushing me to do this.
Can you give me an example of?
Well, the sermons were called Some Assembly Required, and they were just talking about how to know what God wants you to do, how to know God's will. And Esther, hers was a study. She was not a typical person you would have expected to end up being a queen, and she had a lot of things put before her that she didn't want to do and were hard to do, and she stepped out and did them, and I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. And so through that entire study, I was feeling like God was telling me He wanted me back doing this part of it. And then I found out I was changing grade levels.
Yeah. And you're going from what?
I'm going from 5th grade down to a 1st and 2nd grade split classroom. I'm team teaching with Christina Shear. So that part I looked as not as much grading papers.
Yeah.
It'll be more preparation, that part for sure, but the after school part, take home part will be less.
Yeah.
And then team teaching. And I'll say another one. A friend collects newspaper articles at church, and she always just gives them to you, and she'll give me some that have my students in them, or me from my class or whatever. So this one Sunday, I felt like the whole sermon, I just sat there about in tears, and she came up to me after service and gave them to me, the smile. And the front picture was my daughter passing the ball, and it was our state champ year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are you kidding me? And I sat there that day, and I couldn't think of, I thought, I don't even know who the seniors are. And all I could think of was Celia and Zoe.
Yeah.
And I didn't have Celia in school or anything. I don't think she came to Blissfield until 8th grade or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't know her. But I got to know her through basketball a little. And Zoe I had in 3rd grade. And so that was that day. So when the second article I looked at that this gal gave me, and actually I stopped there, was a picture of Zoe's mom and dad, Jim and Jill, with Zoe, when we dedicated a tree at the elementary school in honor of her brother Cody, who died.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
So I called Mr. Babbitt that week and said, you're not going to believe this. And I gave him those reasons. And he said, so are you telling me you're going to take the top spot? And I said, well, and he said, or do you need some more time? I said, well, I think I need a few more days, but I'm telling you, yes, I think I'm going to take the top spot. All the things I told Mr. Babbitt, I said I didn't want to run the summer camp, and I didn't have time to do the, and all those pieces that I named, I couldn't sleep. I was planning camp, and I was, making a flyer in my head for, the elementary program, summer, and all those kinds of things. And it was just like every little piece that I doubted, I was excited about.
Right.
So.
Cool.
And my husband said, well, if you think you can handle the time, I don't know why you're not doing it. So much from Gretchen. I mean, she knows her volleyball.
Yeah.
So their skills, I feel like I'm picking up a team that knows what to do.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, as a group that we can all work together well and get along and, put it all together.
All right.
We did well.
Yeah.
We looked good. We, Taylor's a top setter.
Uh-huh.
Say that. She's going to lead us big time.
And she's been doing it now at the varsity level since her sophomore year?
Yep.
Yeah.
So she knows what she's doing.
Celia, how she look pounding the ball?
Good. Got to keep her hitting.
Yeah.
She wants to tip a little too often.
Yeah.
Ashley's hitting.
Yeah.
Zoe is.
And Ashley's not that big of a girl, but she really hits the ball. I remember. Yeah.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
So when we had 33 here for camp, I had a camp with Jeff Champion, who was Dundee's last year's coach.
Yeah.
And he actually did a camp for me our 05 year.
Yeah.
He knows his volleyball. So, and we had 33 girls here, so that was exciting, in itself. And then right after that, we went up to Spring Arbor for team camp and did well there. Just meshing, playing together, and that's a big part of team is talking, working together. And
cool. Gretchen was the brains or the X and O's, the strategy.
She had the.
What do you think your strength is as a coach?
I think that togetherness, that helping them function as a team, and I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And got a lot of insight from a lot of other coaches. I'm trying to put it together, and I think working together. I'm excited about our staff.
Yeah.
With Mrs. Rupp as our JV coach, and Cassie Todd as our freshman coach.
Okay. Yeah.
She's a teacher at Madison. She teaches first grade, and then Erica Devontier is. Going to be my assistant. Long Dave will be there too.
Yeah.
I think I sure do. Our 05 year, one of our goals was to have both sides of the bleachers out.
Yeah.
And we had it one time when we played Ida here. They had to pull out both sides of the bleachers, and it was packed. And, you want people to come out and see how good they're playing, and just the team camaraderie, and we had our team support, we had our fan support. It was